Welcome back to Drunk Confessions. It's been a while since I looked at you, since I talked to you. If you don't remember who I am or you've never listened to this podcast before, my name is Mia. Mio. Big Mio. A mischievous independent asshole. Whatever works. Whatever feels right. There's a lot of stuff I need to get off my chest, a lot of things I need to confess. So I think that without further ado, intro. Now,
Who the fuck is Larry? Who the fuck is Larry?
okay, fine. You caught me. We haven't been here in a while. It's been a long while. We're on season 3 of the show now. We've been doing this for over a year. And a lot has changed from when we first started to now. When we first started Drunk Confessions, Gabe, my co-host, you guys know him. I don't need to introduce him. He wasn't working full time. I wasn't working full time. We were both just enjoying that CRB life, trying to keep safe and healthy during COVID, and just, doing something to pass the time. And then we started integrating work into it, and real life started coming back. And then you're seeing your friends on the weekend, and it's summertime. And then it gets pushed and pushed and pushed until it becomes like that one work thing you have to do, whether it's an email or you have a meeting later, just that one tiny task that really doesn't take a lot out of you, but that you spend the whole day kind of amping yourself up for. And it's so much bigger in your head than it actually is in reality that you don't want to do it at all. You'd rather just push it and push it and push it until you can't anymore. So obviously, making a half an hour episode really isn't that serious. But I think, like with anything in life, when you get to that point where it's just like, you could do it, or then you always choose the or. So I'm not going to apologize for not making episodes. Really, you guys should be the ones apologizing to us because you know that we're in our 20s. You know that we're unreliable. There's really nothing else I can say. I'm ready for your apology. Thank you. A lot of stuff to go over. A lot. First of all, shout out to our frontline workers. I feel like, yes, the numbers are lower now, but there's still people who are hospitalized, still people in the ICU, still people suffering from the pandemic, whether it's financially, whether it's with their health, whatever it is. Shout out to basically everybody who's doing their part. I respect all of you. I love all of you. Keep on keeping on. With that being said, I think that COVID has, now that we're like past a year into it, you get to a certain point, I think, that you are so sick of yourself. You're spending so much time with yourself because all of our routines have changed. Even if you think everything is back to normal, it's really not. You're spending so much more time alone, at least I am. And I'm so sick of me. I really am. So I've started this journey. One of my friends, she started her own spirituality journey. Mine is just trying to better myself because I think I'm using a lot of analogies in this episode already, but no, this is not an analogy. This is a real life experience. When it's like 10, 11 p.m., you're getting ready for work the next day, you're sitting in your bed, you're on TikTok, and then you put your phone down and you, like, for the first time that day, you actually have nothing going on. There's no sounds, there's no screens, you're by yourself, it's dark. There's like no sensory stimulus or stimuli. You're just with your own thoughts. And then you're like, I want to delete all my social media. I want to move. I'm going to go back to school. Like, you just get into all of your like deeply, deeply pushed down aspirations. And then for me, at least, I wake up the next day as if that never happened. I'm like, I want to write in my journal. I'm going to delete my social media. I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to go to the gym, all this shit. And you wake up and it's like a little bit of amnesia happens. So I decided, I'm like, I'm so fucking sick of saying I'm going to change shit and then not, and then feeling that guilt because nothing's changing. And I saw this quote recently that was like, how you spend your days is how you spend your life, which makes so much sense. I feel like as a generation, we're all sitting here being like, oh, I can't wait for my big break. I can't wait until this. I can't, like, you have to make those things happen. Anyways, part one of my journey was buying so many books. Have I read all of them? No. I'm trying. I'm trying my absolute hardest. The best part about me buying books though is like that's just so ambitious. I'm such an ambitious book buyer. So start off with something easy, get me back into reading. Let's go with the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Okay, let's prepare ourselves for the afterlife. Original was written in like 1890 something, and it's just preparing your soul and yourself as a whole, mind, body, spirit, whatever, and collectively getting ready to die. So that was my first easy pick. I was in the bookstore and I didn't want to be like everybody else. So I also bought something kind of like, not like other girls, the Communist Manifesto. And then along that, we've already got really two really unique choices. I thought, let's just, three's a charm, right? Let's read some Nietzsche. I have a philosophy minor from university. And I never fucking read any of those texts. So I don't know why. Again, me being ambitious. Haven't started this one. It's human, all too human. Moral feelings, the concepts of good and evil. Like, I like it. Will I actually read it? Jury's still out on that one. I also bought this book haul. Who knew? Normal People. Shout out to Carly Thorne or UnCarly, who is on this podcast. She's got an awesome booktube, and this is like one of her favorites. I think it's good. I think it's very realistic. It's basically about like the power dynamic between a couple in high school and then a couple in university. The one thing I don't love is that there's no quotation marks. I have no idea if this is just my copy. I don't know if this is how they publish or write over there in Ireland. I don't know what the fuck is up, but I don't like when I don't know who's speaking or if they're speaking. So then I just keep having to go back. I'm like, oh, that's when he started fucking yelling at her. He doesn't yell at her. So I feel like phase one of my journey has been, changing myself from within. This is awful. Step two is when I'm having these, like, right here, I'm laying down in my bed and I am like, delete your Instagram, delete it, delete your Instagram. And I don't know what kind of hold Instagram has, not even on the younger generations, on all generations. Anybody who I feel like has ever created an Instagram account, it's like fucking crack. It's a literal addiction. So not only did I have my main account, public to the world, showcased wonderful photos of myself and my art and any other creative project that I was working on. So I had that. I also had my private account, which had 30 followers, where I could really be myself. And so I really started thinking about it. What am I using Instagram for really? Because if somebody asked you, what are you using Instagram for? Oh, I use it to keep in touch with my friends and my family, to get inspiration for whatever creative endeavor you're working on, or whatever you do. You get inspiration, you learn the news. A lot of people follow, like, Six Buzz is not a great example, but like any news outlet has an Instagram where they're posting live updates. Like, it's basically an informational network, right? That's the answer you would give. But if you really think about it, what do you spend 90% of your time doing? For me, and this goes along with my soul searching journey, I was spending time only looking up people I know. Like, I would go through my feed and, Instagram messes with their algorithms all the time. So it wouldn't even be people that I know. So I'd have to go out of my way and search up people that, like, I either used to go to high school with or go to university with and just see what they're up to. And then I'd start comparing myself to them, not purposefully, very subconsciously, but still, who are they hanging out with? How come I don't hang out with my friends from university or from high school anymore? What are they doing on the weekends? Why am I not doing that? Or they went here, and then trying to one up them, Oh, they went here in downtown? No, now I'm like low key gatekeeping downtown Toronto in my head. Oh, they went to Ruby Soho? Well, good. I used to work there. So I'd be on my main account, right? Posting these super highly edited, rare photos of myself. But then taking that photo, going on Facetune, and then posting it when it's at, it's not even, doesn't even resemble me. Like, it's me, like, on a really fucking good day on a Thursday in July, okay? once a year. And then I was still going to other people's profiles, other girls' profiles, and looking at their selfies or what they're posting or their bodies and saying, wow, I wish I could look like that, knowing how much work is going into my photos and still taking theirs at face value. So that's like one side of it, okay? And then I would go to my second account or my private account with all my feelings of insecurities and my self consciousness, and then kind of over exploiting myself, like almost trying to overcompensate for it, posting so much on my story, posting every single thing I'm doing that day on my story, posting all these intimate details of my life. Yeah, sure, only maybe 30 or 40 people were following me, but still, nobody's fucking asking and nobody cares. Like, if they truly cared, call me. Call me and ask me what's up, or I'll call you and see what's up in your life. Like, the fact that I could go on Instagram at any point, whether it's my private or public or drunk confessions account, and see what other people are doing or just look at them and really analyze every detail from their eye color to their eyebrow shape to their cheekbones to their jawline to their curvature in their body at any point, and just look at them for as long as I want without any restriction. That's fucking creepy, bro. That's weird. I completely get it if it's for I keep saying, creative aspirations. I understand, but no. No. And then these ideas are so normalized that like these little girls and little boys are on Instagram posting their bodies, thinking that they have to compete with people our age or older. And then it's just so normal. Everything comes back to pedophilia. Fine, I'll say it. I'll say it. But no, that's not the point that I wanted to make. It happens to come up. Like, I can't stop that. So I got to this breaking point where Instagram is so all consuming because it gives me the ability to post these highly polished photos of myself, right? Create this whole new persona for people who know me in real life and know I don't look like that. And then still go on another account and just, I was creating multiple versions of myself. And that shit is exhausting to keep up with. It's exhausting. Even going out to a restaurant, I'm like, I have to take a picture of this and post it. Like, I didn't have that pressure. Nobody would talk about that pressure. But if I didn't post anything and I went out for a whole night, I'm like, man, that was kind of uncharacteristic. And so, fuck, I got so sick of it. I didn't even just delete the app off my phone, I had to delete my full account. So, my personal account is gone and my private account is gone. Finito. If you thought I blocked you, I didn't. I'm just gone. I'm like, not like other girls. I'm off the map, I'm off the grid. And the thing about addictions, or I guess just social media addictions, because I haven't really quit a lot of things in my life, like drinking or smoking, but I find, they're not joking around when they say out of sight, out of mind. I guess if I can get any message out of this rant, I guess it would just be, to think about it a little bit more. And every time I bring it up to people, they're like, well, I'm not really on it that much. Not really on it that much. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I look at your phone when you're on it and you're fucking on Instagram. Like, you know what's going on. You're on there. You're watching stories. Even if you don't think you're allocating that much time to it, go on your fucking settings. See how much you allocate a week. Okay? Allocate. Journalism. I don't know who the fuck that was. But let's keep it going. I'm not mad at the energy we're putting out there. I'm speaking primarily about Instagram, but there's so many other social media websites or platforms that are problematic. And I know TikTok has its problems. It's like with, young people and predatory behavior. That's a whole other issue that one day we'll cover. And then there's Twitter. Twitter is a problem. I feel like journalism is facing so many problems on there right now, too, especially Canadian journalism. But the issue that I want to focus on is opinions. With the inception or the creation of social media, I think what it's done is just allow everybody to have an opinion about anything, whether you're informed or not informed or disinformed. whether you are educated or not educated, whether you care or don't care. You just have this ability to comment on anything without any consequence. So I was watching these gymnasts, right? I was watching this YouTube compilation from all of the gold medal, or I guess, yeah, all of the first place floor routines, all the way from 1980, I guess, 4 or 86, I don't know, up until now with Simone Biles. And I was thinking about these gymnasts back then and how, yeah, they'd probably fucking get shit on in the media, right? But who would really be dissing them? Just news outlets or just TV. It would basically just be like major players in the game who are doing it for money or who are doing it because they have some ulterior motive, who have some benefit. They're getting something out of it. They have, whether it's a political agenda or just a social agenda, they have like motive. So you know that. You can understand that and you can rationalize that. But I think then as you progress, and this doesn't even just apply to sports or athletics, I think it can apply to so many industries and it can apply to you and it applies to me. I just think that facing a large crowd is so much less daunting than facing, let's say, your inner group of friends or an inner group of people you don't know. Because it's that intimate connection that you have with such a small amount of people that their opinions are probably going to matter more in a big crowd. You're putting, let's say you're putting on a performance, it's fucking grade 10. You can't see anybody out there. There's too many faces, right? You're just performing for you, basically. You can't hear what they're saying or know what they're thinking. And then in a small group, that like spotlight and that pressure is really on you. And you can see people right across the room and you know exactly what their facial mannerisms or body language is telling you and if they disapprove and whatever. So I feel like what social media has done is like emphasized that intimate feeling on such a large scale. Because I was thinking about Simone Biles and how she's out of the Olympics. And obviously, your first thought is like, what the fuck? Like, she has so many sponsorship deals, brand deals, all this money behind her, this massive movement behind her. She's a black woman in the sport. Like, we're all supporting her. We're like, go, like, be this, like spearhead the sport, like spearhead this mission. Resume word. Then you like take a step back and you're like, actually think about that. Like all of a sudden, tomorrow, you're recognized for something that you do really great and you're number one in the world and you have to compete and fight for that title for the rest of your professional career. And it's not just news outlets or organizations who are, hating on you in the media. It's people taking time out of their day to make compilation, like video compilations, or people commenting on your Instagram post, or people making whole accounts hating you. And it's just those personal messages mentioning your name and mentioning your age and mentioning your family and who you know. And that builds and builds and builds until what? Until you probably fucking can't take it anymore. It pisses me off that people have that people can have an opinion about everything. Like I don't know, like I did gymnastics when I was young and I coached for a bit. I don't fucking know what they deal with. Like so that doesn't make me any more informed. I don't fucking know anything. I don't know Simone Biles. So why do I get to have an opinion about whether she's in the Olympics or not? Like, why do you, who are sitting on your couch doing nothing, watching the sport, get to have an opinion? Freedom of speech, I get that. But it's just like there's such a gray area of, well, it's freedom of speech, so I get to hate if I want to hate. And then if that was turned back on you, you'd be like, this is slander, this is libel, this is harassment. I was having this conversation with my hairdresser, and she's like, the world is so polarized. Like you're either completely left or completely right, whether it's that's political or just, an analogy. And then social media kind of plays this mediator or it plays this middleman that's playing both sides. And it allows you to be condescending and manipulative and fucking mean behind a screen. And I know this isn't news to anybody. I just think that it's so accepted, the same way that it's accepted that we can spend 6 to 7 hours a day on Instagram. without a second thought. It's just something that we do and we do and we do. It boggles my mind and it hurts my mind and I feel bad. Okay, so we're back to you're trying to go to bed. You're laying right here, okay? You got your big fluffy pillow with you. It's midnight. You got these thoughts in your head. You're like, I should delete my social media or I should go on a trip or whatever. And then you get to the existential thoughts that lead to an undeniable existential crisis. And then again, with the polarization, you can either be, I'm working hard, I'm going to get a master's degree, I'm going to work, I'm going to earn my living, or we live on a floating rock in the middle of space. And you like can't live in between both because they're both so fucked up if you think about it. And I think they coincide way more than you think. Because it's like climate change, fucking billionaires are getting on their, I was gonna say jet skis, they're getting on their fucking rockets and leaving. Like all of a sudden, forest fires. It's like that's just so peculiar that everyone's trying to leave Earth. And then you think, were they making all of these like end of the world movies as a joke? Or was that like a predetermined documentary? And so you get into this existential crisis, right? You're laying down, trying to fucking go to sleep. And then there's all this fucking pressure that you're putting on yourself. You're like, bro, ski, bro, guy, bro, what are you doing? Right? Like, you're just trying to go to bed and you're like, man, I shouldn't even fucking get up for work tomorrow. I should just quit my job and go to Alaska if the world's gonna end. But then you're reinforced through social media that everything is drunk confession. It's actually probably the most embarrassing thing that I've ever had to admit. I don't regret it. Forgive me, Father Larry, for I have sinned. When Italy won the Euro Cup, I did 100% drive to Woodbridge and go running through the streets with a flag, right in the middle on the little curb. What's it called in the middle of the street? I don't fucking know what it's called. And I was just repeatedly saying, "We're number one." We were playing the national anthem, Italy's national anthem, on repeat. Kept her going, and I've never felt so at home. I saw a tweet that said, "Congratulations to Woodbridge, Ontario." I saw fucking right. Woodbridge is a part of Italy that just, how Pangea, the continents, then, that got dispersed. Woodbridge was actually part of Italy, if you didn't know. So I felt at home. I felt connected to my roots. I just felt accepted, you know? And you don't, like, it was just such a special feeling. I teared up at one point. And to feel that kind of unconditional love is something that, I pray for. And so that completes this episode. I know that you probably weren't waiting for another one, but if you were, I know this was probably a little bit disappointing. Hey, real world shit. We're getting older. We got to think about it a little bit more. So if you're still with me, thanks. Hopefully we'll be putting out episodes. Is it smoking in my room? I don't know if there's a fire starting. I really don't know. I know that, this long awaited episode, you guys have been like putting hashtags out on Twitter. Like, I know, we're here. You asked, we delivered. What is happening right now? If you're not watching this and you're just listening to me in your earsies, there's an actual fucking rainbow on the camera. So perhaps you need to tune into YouTube to see this. But anyways, all of our episodes are available on Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Podcasts. You can watch episodes all the time on YouTube. This is actually so cute. And yeah, we'll hopefully chat to you soon. I don't know what's going on.